All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am No One, and today we are going to recap the November 27th live stream for Ashes of Creation. Now, I will provide a link in the description for the entire live stream if you guys want to go back and watch it. I'm just going to talk about some of the tidbits that I found most interesting. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. First things first, Steven and Margaret kicked off the live stream by talking about Phase 2. For those of you guys that don't know, Phase 2 starts December 20th. And they announced once again that December 20th, there will be server wipes. All of our current characters will be wiped away. We're getting new players coming online at that point in time. There's other issues. We're doing fresh start all over again in December 20th. They also announced a few highlights of things that we can expect to see on December 20th. Now, these aren't all inclusive. They wanted to make sure that that's the case. These are just some of the highlights of things that they are planning to have December 20th when Phase 2 goes live. Number one, we are getting two new races. We are getting the Valoon and we are getting the Dunir race. So all of you dwarf-loving MMORPG tanks finally get to play your Dunir. I'm sure you're very excited about it. I can't wait to see them out there, running around like little odd jobs. How many people played? No, never mind. I just dated myself. Anyways, it's very exciting. I was hoping that we were going to get that right away. It's always nice to have different choices. They also announced that they're going to expand the tropics and the desert biomes. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, currently these are lawless zones. That's how they've dubbed them in Alpha 2. Lawless zones are always on PvP. Basically, they're areas that aren't finished yet. And so they're slowly going to flesh those out. As they flesh those out, as they put drop rate things that you can mine, collect, whatever, as they put in different nodes in those areas, you will see things come online, and I'm guessing that they will no longer become lawless zones, and they will push even further out into the world, and those areas will become lawless zones. So it all makes sense. We're a month into Alpha 2 so far. It makes sense that they're going to be expanding into those areas. They also announced that there is going to be a new group dungeon underground. It's supposed to be a very large, extensive area, which I'm really looking forward to. The cool part about Ashes of Creation, and I'm going to discuss it in another video later on as well, the replayability of what a PvX environment gives when they introduce big pieces of content like that means that there's many hours to spend in there. I'm going to be very curious to see what kind of gear, what kind of recipes drop from that area personally. I'm looking forward to getting in there and testing it out myself. Those were the biggest ones. Another one that they announced is that Rogue will not be available December 20th. Steven said that it's looking like it might be online January-ish. I would assume somewhere, I would just say early next year, January, February, March of next year, we will be able to see the Rogue. They did say, though, that if you do have PTR access, Rogue might be online at that point, obviously under NDA, and we'll be able to test those things. So my wish of having a birthday gift of having the Rogue for Alpha 2 in December is not coming to fruition, but it's close. I'm really looking forward to getting in there and testing the Rogue. I've been having a blast on Fighter, but you guys know me. I just like playing everything, and Rogue and Fighter are my top two. So I've been really, really enjoying the Fighter, and I can't wait to see what they do with the Rogue. So I'm looking forward to getting in there, testing it out, figuring that stuff out, and providing content for you guys and talking about it and what it does. So I'm looking forward to that. They also added player stalls. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, there's no globalized economy in Ashes of Creation. Currently, there's not really much of an economy. What they're going to have is they're going to have stalls in each node, more regional-based thing to where you can put stuff up for sale. You travel to that area, you make your purchases, and you move on. Currently, they don't exist in Alpha 2, so what people have to do for different resources, highly valuable ones like copper, for instance, or attempting to get a rare armor piece, is you have to go into area chat and say what you're looking for. And so player stalls are going to be really valuable for that. Expanding crafting, harvesting, stuff like that. Trading in general will just be a lot better in Phase 2 when they incorporate these things, because then you can just leave your goods that you want to sell up online, and when other people are playing when you're asleep, they might purchase something. They also after these initial announcements, they had other updates as well, guys. I'm just doing a recap for you. But then they went into Ruins of Civilian, which is another point of interest currently in Alpha 2, and they proceeded to fight giants. And one of the things that they got from feedback in the last feedback thread that they did was that players wanted different types of monsters. If you go out and you adventure into the world, if you go to certain areas, there's different types of things. Like if you go north, just north of Halcyon, there's an entire skeleton point of interest. If you go, obviously you go to Carfin, there are zombies. You have stuff like that. If you go into Hercene Caves, there are bears. There are different things, but obviously like some of it does overlap. And they introduced giants. And so we got to see some content where they attacked and DPS down 3-star level 22, level 23 giants, which are, that sounds pretty challenging to me. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Like as you see things coming online, you see more and more things fleshed out. They also talked briefly about pathing for characters, which may not seem like a big deal to you guys, and I totally understand that. If you go to certain points of interest, like if you go to Highwayman Hills, it looks really good. I think it looks really good. You can tell that that's one of the first things that they really worked on. And then as you venture west towards like Jova and towards the tropics, you see that they just have ads kind of stationed in places, and it's not as fleshed out. They put stuff there, so there's not as much pathing. It's not as fully fleshed out, and so there are points in time when you're playing Alpha 2 where you're like, man, this feels like a fully fleshed out game. This is amazing. This is awesome. I'm really enjoying this. And then it obfuscates the fact that there's just so many things that aren't the exact same way. And so you kind of have to, as a player, you kind of have to extrapolate like, okay, you can tell that this one's not finished. What is this going to look like with pathing and with all this stuff going? And so I'm envisioning places like Jova and Nuela being a lot more fleshed out in the same way that Highwayman Hills is during the start of Alpha 2 with how they're doing pathing. I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do. It's just my guesstimation. So we got to watch them take down some giants, and then they got to fight the Ancient Ones. And so Steven Sharif and Intrepid brought on some content creators, Pirate Software, our very own Nice Gaming, Grappler, Jamie Chaos, and I'm forgetting the other ones. I think Vladis. I forget who else is in there. I apologize if I missed a name. But yeah, they did a full raid on fighting the Ancient Ones, and we got to see a really cool introduction. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they hit it out of the park. I'm just gonna play it right here for you.
I hear.
Does everyone else hear that?
It's behind us.
It's behind us. Okay.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. Oh God!
It's in the wall.
It's to our left right now. It's just
walking around.
It's at
I
the
see something.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, the ancient.
Oh, this is the thing that
The ancient.
wiped all the people in Nuela.
Clear comms. Clear comms.
Oh my God!
That is horrifying.
Wow.
Show offs.
Help!
That's freaking rad looking, dude.
Yeah, that sounded freaking sick to me. The fight looked really good. And overall, I'm just impressed. I'm just overall very impressed with where things are going. Obviously, the live stream, they just showed a couple of monsters. But if you're participating in Alpha 2, if you've been following along with the patch notes and you've been seeing the fixes that have been coming in, there are a lot of fixes. There are a lot of improvements. It is getting better and better. I can't say this enough, but the state that Alpha 2 was in on day one was way better than I expected, and it's getting better and better. Obviously, are there performance issues? Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course there is. There's lag spikes, there's random disconnects. Sometimes my weapons currently don't work. I'm gonna do a video talking about that here in the future. It feels like there's a weapon swap bug that exists where when you weapon swap like your sword or your bow, typically like your melee weapon disappears, and it feels like the stats on that weapon also disappear. So if you have lifesteal on it, you don't get lifesteal anymore, as an example. So Those things are things that are noticeable, but overall the enjoyment is fun, the replayability is fun. It's what we've talked about on Voice of Era for the last year. Players make content, and there's a bunch of places, there's a bunch of points of interest with cool things to fight over, and that's exactly what players are doing. Players are talking, communicating, working together against different other groups of people in order to do these things, and it's creating a very fun experience. Our guild is very excited to hop in. We got the extra week this week, and people have been taking advantage of it. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We'll continue to do updates like this, but yeah, those are the big ones for me. Rogue soon, hopefully. New big point of interest, more fleshing out of the tropics and desert, and yeah, looking forward to phase 2 here. So I'm gonna end this video here. Like I said, links in the description if you want to watch the whole video. Let me know what you thought was the best part for you. Obviously, I missed quite a bit. I just wanted to talk about my main highlights. So, yeah, I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.
Great job, guys. Keep it up. I know it's tough. It's almost dead. We downed it.